Good morning and welcome to Saturday Morning Comic Talk. This is a show where we talk about a variety of subjects with some great indie creators. So before we get anything started, let's start with introductions. So Carissa, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am the creator and writer on Worthy Chaos Comics, starting a cryptids line with cryptids, like not the cryptid coin, that would probably get me more money, but like, Bigfoot and all that stuff. But I have the Worthy Chaos Comics on Kickstarter almost all the time. We're either in pre-launch or live or both, probably, since we have 2 series going. The best place to find me is search Worthy Chaos on Google or Worthy Chaos on Kickstarter, and you can see our horror, supernatural, adventure stories on there.
Nice. So Aaron, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, I'm Aaron Wroblewski, writer, creator of various horror comics, Enenra, Blood and Fire, Ice and Bone, and Amor Patris.
Awesome. And Lori and Eric, tell us about yourselves, please.
Hey, we own Laguna Studios. We publish, I'm the creator, we're the writers of Heart Eater. We also publish a number of other series, Unthinkables, The Surgeon, Miss Medusa's Monstrous Menagerie, all kinds of stuff. And we're also a fulfillment company for other creators, so we ship out packages and all that.
We have a warehouse dedicated just to shipping out stuff for everybody around the world.
So we're doing a lot of stuff.
That's awesome. And I know as a creator who fulfills his own stuff, it must be nice to tell someone else to do all that. So yeah,
we wouldn't know because we do it ourselves. No one, so we don't tell anyone to do it for us. We tell ourselves to do it. So
yeah, you don't have that luxury. You got to do it for yourself and for everyone else. And oh my gosh, that sounds like my nightmare. So hats off to you for doing that.
Giant, like 700 square foot place to
do
do it.
You guys do like, not to add more to your plate because you already sound busy, but since you're already fulfilling, do you guys have like a Kickstarter for people like in Brazil? And I only ask that because I've had 5 people ask me to publish for them because for some reason they can't use Kickstarter in Brazil. So they would need somebody else to do it and fulfill for them. So you might have a new market if you opened it or advertised it towards the countries that Kickstarter can't do. So they can make the whole Kickstarter, but you would just be like the fulfiller.
Yeah, so there you go. Even more of your time will disappear now.
Sorry,
start a whole new country of fulfillment. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty because he was saying there's one of his sponsors does that. I'm sure there's plenty of people who do that, but I don't make enough money to have the luxury of saying like, here, you do that. It's, I gotta do it. And usually I actually make fun of a fun day of it. I just put on some random movie trilogy and watch it. I put a table out in the front room and it's like kind of like we have our conveyor belt system. I tell my wife, all right, tape this one up. And I did it for my first campaign and do it now. I write a personal thank you card to every single backer. It's tedious, but I figure it's something. I've had comments on it. They say that people really like it. So I keep it going, and that I can't send off to a fulfillment company. Like, all right, you need to write a proper thank you for me, and I'll put the presidential stamp for you. Send one of those off.
Yeah, it's different when it's your own stuff. Like when our books come in, we're like excited. It's like, I want to write thank you cards. I want to put in goodies and stuff. But everyone else says you're just like, oh, it's it's work, And then being in the comic industry, we know how all of our fans are and how if that page is dog-eared a little bit, game over. It goes from 9.8 to a 9.1 and it's worthless. So it's like the fact
that 9.1.
As well as, we're packaging your stuff. So all of our stuff arrives. You are good to go. As opposed to Amazon, they're like one sheet of bubble wrap in an oversized box and then they throw it into the sun. And then
if you decide you want to have like 5 names
for you. So giant to put a little Funko Pop in, and like you say, that one sheet of paper, and you're like, that shit, you it's been shuffled around and booted, and it comes so wrecked, and then Amazon says, well,
it's like
we promise the item will come find, not the package.
Oh, thanks, it's ruined,
it's I've had that. So you guys will take more care than Amazon, and creators always do. I'm thinking I've had some stuff on eBay come in pretty scary packaging. Like, okay, you order a baseball card, for example, that you paid $50 for, and they send it in an envelope with a stamp in a little penny sheet. You know, you can do that for some random.
You know, but it doesn't matter if it's expensive or not. I ordered my husband the I don't know, the gingerbread kit, right? So that he can make a gingerbread house for Christmas, which, by the way, he never did and just ate it. But the point is, they sent it in like an envelope, and it was like some of it was like broken. I was like,
yeah,
I know he's just gonna put it, and I know he's gonna eat it, but they don't know that. So.
Yeah, and Lori and Eric will not fuck your stuff up like that. And here we go. Welcome to our first tangent of the day.
That should be your slogan. We're not going to fuck it up.
We won't fuck your shit up.
So, yeah, I mean, this show lives on its tangents, and there's our first one, and we're, you know, a few minutes in. So I always like a good tangent. And last week we were all over the map, and I have one subject today, so I'm curious where we're gonna go with this.
Yeah, but I'm on, so I'm a rambler, so who knows what the hell is.
Oh, it's last week was beautiful, and I always enjoy a good tangent. But yes, Lori and Eric can fulfill your stuff and save you the headache, because it is the bigger your campaign, the larger your headache's gonna be. Carissa, you might want to invest, because I've seen you got a big campaign and you like to ship your stuff like that. So
yeah, but I get that whole
mind. Get it out fast.
Yep.
But let me tell you, I am pretty lazy, so this is an option I might consider. You know.
Yeah. So there you go. For the lazy ones, Lori and Eric will not fuck your shit up. We have already established that. They're not going to Amazon it with a sheet of tissue paper to protect a $1,000 item.
We promise.
Yes. So there you go.
Guarantee.
Right, so yes. So they're guarantee more than a sheet of tissue paper. So I always pick 3 subjects. I actually dropped the music subject today because I know Carissa's not a huge music fan, and she would have been like, I have no answer for that one. So we got two movie ones.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. You gotta know who's on.
I could just be the only loser that's like, what's music? So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll
make you come
really
on.
do that much. To be honest,
my torture is you have to come on my Wednesday show and talk about a whole album in depth. So, like that's how you pay it back. All right. So the first one, this one I know is going to have some controversy, but separating the art from the artist. Because if you've been reading in the comic community lately, there's a lot of bad buzz going about Neil Gaiman, but this isn't the first time that kind of controversy has happened. I mean, different circumstances, obviously, but the question is, and I've read, the whole spectrum of things from, I'm done, I'm going to burn all this shit in a bonfire, to, we have to separate the art from the artist. So the question is, can you separate the art from the artist? I mean, can you look at them as 2 separate entities? So Carissa, what do you think about this one?
So I would say there's 2 levels of it that it's almost impossible to separate the artist from the art. But there's 2 levels. If it's really truly bad, you throw away your stuff that you own from them, and if they're not that bad, you just never buy something from them again. So it would really depend on what the person does. Obviously, if it's like things I don't want to say here with children or whatever, then that would be like, have a bonfire, and then obviously assaults and stuff. So it really depends. If it's just like, if it's not just an opinion of, how a lot of people are getting canceled because their opinions, that's different. If it's like a major crime, then can you really separate it from the art? Like if you're a huge fan, and then, no, I don't think I can, because there's actually been a couple of people that I'm like, well, I'm never watching their movie again because of, so I don't know if I really could separate the art from the artist. If it's, like I said, if it's just opinions that they have, sometimes even that affects people. So I don't think I can affect it. I don't think I can just let it go.
Yeah.
I don't know. You want to, like, you might want to, but I don't know if you can. So.
Yeah, it's a hard one, and I don't think there is really one simple good answer for this one, because you look and see also, if you were to boycott something entirely, you're not just affecting that one rotten individual, because everything is a collaboration. So yes, and I'm gonna shut up because I'm the host and I let my guests go first. So
Well, no, it's just like if you really,
it's
if
like
you're
I have opinions, but yours come first. Then I'll open my big mouth and say what I have to say.
But see, the problem is, like, let's say if you say you can't separate, if someone says they truly can't separate the art from, if they can separate the art from the artist, if you can, then that means you can wear a shirt of their stuff, and that means you don't mind the controversy of wearing it. So it's kind of like if someone says that they can completely separate, I want to know if they would wear the merch in a crowd of people that might not be as into it. Not that you can care what other people think, but you know what I'm saying? That's a huge thing.
So Lori and Eric, what do you think on this one?
So we actually talked about this last night, and speaking of music, Eric had mentioned, and we'll pose this question to you too, Iced Earth, if you liked Iced Earth before.
I loved Iced Earth. It was a big metal band in high school 25 years ago, and then the guy was there. The main songwriter was at January 6th, and it turns out he was like spouting his opinions online, and then his biggest crime was being there. So it's like what Carissa was saying. It's like different opinion, and it's an opinion I don't agree with, and a lot of people don't agree with, and like morally I can't wear an Iced Earth shirt anymore. I had closets full. This is the man I listened to learn how to play electric guitar. Like my playing style sounds it's just a rip off of him. I just loved it so much. It's all I would listen to, and that came out, and it was devastating because I had all the albums, all the shirts, everything, and I put it away. Because it's a difference of opinion, and he was at January 6th, but he didn't there was no like real violent crimes. There was no like that, and I'm like, I can't support him, but I did already buy my stuff, and I enjoy it personally when I wear an Iced Earth shirt. No, maybe after the main songwriter is deceased and they're not making any money, they're not making any advances in their career, it benefits them at all, and it's just for my personal enjoyment. Again, it depends on what they did, but I feel for something like that where it's like a political thing, I could get over it in my own home. Would I ever wear it, say, outside the house? No, but now
there's 3 levels. Wear it, burn it.
Right.
It's like it doesn't.
And then for me, on my part, I read the Neil Gaiman article, and it just made me physically sick. And I owned almost all of his books. And for me, it's Stardust. Like for me, it's very hard having read that to separate him from the writing now, because there's things in his writing that seem like they were influenced by his whatever issues he has that made him behave like that. So it's like there's multiple layers, and it's just like I don't know, as a woman and as just
it's bad, and I've delved even deeper because there was a whole podcast series, so I've been listening to that, and that one is the worst for me because this is an artist I deeply love, and I actually read his books aloud to my students, and now I'm like, okay, I'm teaching a group of 3rd graders. If they find out what went down, I can't feel comfortable reading those books aloud. And that's something I've read Coraline to my class every year since its publication. And it is by far their favorite book. I have students come up to me that are in their 20s and their 30s now, and they tell me, oh my gosh, we just loved when you read Coraline. That's my favorite book, and we love the movie. And it's like, motherfucker, you had to go and do some stupid shit.
You couldn't just be a good guy.
Do good guys just exist? I mean, I don't have any power in the world. So if you have power, does it corrupt you that much where you're, what people seem to think is just this good, nice guy, and then he just completely goes off the deep end? Would I be subject to that? I hope not.
No,
I think I have a theory on that.
I have a theory on that, but I'm not sure if it's accurate. So I think there's 2 lines of thought. One, are they being corrupted by the power they're getting, or did they get that power by being corrupt? So because you look at all these like the Hollywood stars that are like at the Diddy parties or something, it's like, did they get famous because they went to those things and did things to get higher up, or were they there because they were already high up? So
They were already, yeah.
So it's kind of like I think it could go both ways. Like I don't think a great person can be absolutely corrupted by just getting power. I mean, there are actors out there that are like, look at Keanu Reeves. I mean, he's got all the money in the world. He's not corrupt. I mean, he sits with the homeless and eats dinner. You know, so I don't think it's all about. It's definitely going to corrupt you, but I think you already have to be somewhat corrupt to get that kind of high place in society, and then. You know,
I guess it's got to be.
No one says
there.
no. They're so powerful. They're so famous. They are not used to people saying no.
Like, what would you get that famous? Like, what are they doing to get that famous? They got to be doing something. Not always, but I mean, they got to. Generally, a lot of people do things that they shouldn't do.
And on our level, we hear no all the time. So it's like if you stopped hearing no, how would it change you? Because it's like when you're used to it. But I think. Yeah, it's hard to say. I would say, like Carissa was saying, there has to be a nugget of that in there to start that grows and explodes when that fame and the power arise. Because I don't think you would just become, the pure soul corrupted because now, people like you. So, Aaron, we didn't hear your opinion. So what's your thought on this one?
I think art-wise, for comics especially, it's almost impossible to separate the two. But Hollywood is the next kind of medium that, an actor does something stupid, like Ezra Miller supposedly kind of affected The Flash, even though it was a shit film. And then like Mel Gibson, it really depends on what the guy did or person did. And then everyone seems to forget. Oh, give him a second chance. He's had his, he's been blacklisted for like 2 years. He's fine. Like fucking what's the name? Hammer, who's coming back, making a comeback.
Army Hammer.
Yeah.
Okay.
After
MC Hammer.
Like, really?
MC Hammer. I don't know MC Hammer into some nonsense, but
you never know.
And it seems like that always happens.
Yeah,
because
right now it's
give
in
them
the
a few
media.
years.
Everyone's talking about it. In 5-10 years' time, people will start buying his shit again. People forget.
Use that controversy as like a jumping in point, like from the controversial writer.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then then it's like used as infamy now. It's like, oh, well, he did this. Do you want to see? Your morbid curiosity is like, do you want to see what he's up to? And so many people will do it.
And the media is the best. It's the worst.
A new selling point for that, and it's scary that that's what they'll use. But sales are sales. I mean, the company DC, they're not just going to be like, oh, he's done, because Sandman's still probably one of their top sellers. Coraline's still going to sell a lot of copies, and that's where it comes tricky. Where the movie of Coraline, he may have given the basis for that, but that was created by a whole different group of people. And do you want to punish them because, the person who wrote it is terrible? I mean, obviously, for me, I can't use it in the classroom anymore. That avenue is dead. And that's not me saying I'm banning Neil Gaiman. I'm through with him. But I have the thought of, if a parent read that article and they find out that I'm reading a Neil Gaiman book to their children, they're going to be rightfully pissed off. And I just need to know, okay, I've lost that. And it stinks because, like I said, that's been since its publication. I've always loved Neil Gaiman. So I thought, wow, this is amazing. I have a book I can read to my students. So it does hurt me to lose that, but I know better because I don't need my job in jeopardy because of a book I choose to read.
Yeah. I think J.K. Rowling would be another good example because, so many people worked on those movies and don't agree with her insanity.
Even the actors. It's like,
you can stop the books because that's all her.
Yeah.
But the movies, there's so many people involved. It's kind of like, are you going to look through Phil Spector's catalog of music and not buy any of those albums because those musicians are the ones that are going to get the money? And Phil Spector may have been the producer, but Harvey Weinstein, another one. Do you boycott all
Kevin
of those
Spacey.
movies that he put his name on, even though you know that there were other actors, other directors involved? And it sucks that he will get a penny from a sale of one of those movies, but do you punish the entirety of that cast and crew because, you know, one horrible scumbag who is in prison, fortunately for him, serving time, but still getting paid, which is pretty rough.
I thought that too. I didn't know that. I didn't know that you had an accent. So you came on and I was like, oh,
Didn't you know that?
I didn't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I guess
For
I didn't
whatever
know till you
reason, I
came
thought
on the
you were
show for me.
American, and that's just what my brain
Mystery.
imprinted on you.
Yeah, 'cause I think this is your third time on, Aaron. So
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Now I
Been a-
know.
Been a few
After
times.
the first time, yeah.
I, mean,
So.
I confuse people when I say, yeah, I'm from Kentucky. They go, what?
Like to throw them off, but yeah, I think also what you were saying, like when the artist is dead, then
Yeah.
you don't really care, because H.P. Lovecraft, we're you know,
don't.
I'm writing for an H.P. Lovecraft
Example.
anthology. He was not a good person.
No.
He was racist, and there's certain works where you read it, you're like, oh damn, that's just crossing a line. I can't continue
I
reading
actually
this.
didn't know that, but I didn't read a lot of his stuff. So
Yeah, I mean, I didn't until I started writing for the Cthulhu series, because I went in pretty much. I tried to read Lovecraft and I found it too tedious, and I had to listen to it. Even reading it now, I'm like, oh, he's just trying to
It's a
show
very
off.
slow burn.
It's like he's hanging out with a thesaurus and just like, let me throw in some words. But then he just like, here I'm hanging out with my thesaurus and I want to just insult a complete race right now. So he was a horrible racist.
Yes.
But if you buy and support, you know, Cthulhu Invades Fairy Tales, he's not getting a penny of it. So he being dead and in public domain, it's different with him, but he was terrible, and people don't really flinch at that. They're not saying, okay, let's not buy that. Please buy Cthulhu Invades Fairy Tales, all the volumes, since I'm in them. But we're not saying don't buy them because H.P. Lovecraft sucked, even though he legitimately did.
Yeah.
But the team doing this book doesn't suck, and they're not. You know, I would hope that nobody with those kind of same viewpoints would be even allowed into that anthology.
Yeah.
But it's a whole tricky situation.
Yeah, what would be
I mean,
nice
it'd be-
is like with these artists and stuff, if we could keep the art and then forget the creator. Like
Yeah.
Cthulhu. I want everyone's gonna know Cthulhu's name and then be like, who created it? It doesn't matter. Oh, it doesn't matter. Like in the 100 years, that'd be cool if it was like it doesn't matter.
Let's
Yeah,
erase
like,
him.
yeah,
The
we'll just-
Lovecraft disappears from it. That would be
Right.
the
Yeah.
ideal situation. And then, you know, who knows? I mean, I can't fully say anything about Neil Gaiman because everything is alleged right now. So, you know, not to say that I'm condemning him, but let's say he is found guilty, like a Weinstein type of thing. Then it can be Sandman, just Sandman by whoever the hell, you know. It's like, let's just pretend that it doesn't, you know. Coraline by Henry Selick, you know, the movie. We can think of that, and it's Henry Selick, written by Henry Selick, you know, based on whatever. Who cares? But
Right.
based
Yeah.
on the
can we
book.
eventually?
Yeah, like
Yeah, you just literally just say based on the comic.
yeah.
Yeah,
and not
based
even
on
say
the
anything
comic.
else.
Who's
And
the
if you
artist?
wanna
We'll give
dive
him
in,
some
you can,
credit.
you can.
Yeah.
I wonder if famous people knew that would happen, like there was like this magic like lobotomy spell that would happen if they fucked up, if they would fuck up less. Or
Yeah,
if they wouldn't care.
it's like turn it
I
like
mean,
Men
it's
in
made
Black,
us
walking
made
around
us
with a
millions.
flashy thing for anyone who owns it. Like
maybe everyone should just use pen names from now on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
And plus, yeah, like you said, they have their money. They don't care. Never mind.
yeah.
don't
Even
care.
yeah,
I mean, if he cared, he'd stop. And
Yeah.
he obviously knew it was wrong because he was paying out hundreds of thousands of dollars.
NDAs everywhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I mean,
yeah, that's the
the
thing.
woman who got 60,000 was thinking, "Shit, I should have got 300,000 from the."
Could've-
I should have
could have
hanged,
done better.
hanged out a bit
Yeah,
more.
sadly.
It's So his apology he put out was just one of those. He probably used
Oh, he did? I didn't even know he did an
AI.
apology.
Oh, he probably
The Chat
did.
Oh,
GPT
yeah.
one, like, please send out generic apology to all fans, and like,
Yeah.
boink, there's your Chat GPT version of it. Yeah, it wasn't great. It kind of reminds me of talking about J.K. Rowling. With hers, every apology made her sound worse. Every apology just
Oh.
dug her deeper in the hole. It's like, do you know what an apology is? You're kind of like, I'm sorry, you guys suck, but suck it up
Literally
and
every
stop
single one sounds
sucking.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his apology was not quite as bad as that, but still just very generic and not very heartfelt.
I need
Did
to
he-
find
was
myself.
Was this a video or was it like a written statement?
It was a
It was
little
written.
written
He
statement.
probably didn't write it.
Yeah. His agent's like,
Lawyer.
you piece of shit. I'm gonna write you an apology because you'll just mess it up. You'll J.K. Rowling this shit, and I don't want that.
Right.
It was so generic and vague and like self, redemption. Oh, I need to find myself and work on myself and make myself better. And it's like, yeah,
Yeah. How about the people that you wrecked their lives? How are you gonna make them better?
yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm
gonna-
sorry. This hurts me way more than you. I'll be
Yeah.
okay, guys.
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
go take a bath in my millions of
Yeah.
dollars and like cry a little bit, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, he's sad he got caught. I guess that's a thing, that someone didn't sign his NDA and things leaked out. But yes, allegedly. I'm gonna say that because I might be tiny, but people still like suing people. So
Yeah, because all these
allegedly.
NDAs, I'm not getting into the legal side of it, but because they've signed all these NDAs, are they allowed to say anything?
Hey, I'm no lawyer. I don't know.
I don't know.
feel like
I've
if the
never had to
legal
sign one.
shit is happening and you sign an NDA, the illegality of it overrides the NDA.
Something must override it, right? That was my thought
Yeah,
too.
you can't just be like, hey, we're gonna do this horrible violent crime. Can you gonna sign this and not tell him he signed it so it didn't happen?
Right, like come help me
Yeah.
murder this guy. Just
I
sign
don't
an NDA first.
Like,
I don't,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
There
that's-
has to be
yeah.
something legal about it because, like, psychiatrists can't even keep it to themselves anymore if they threaten violence.
Yeah.
So an NDA cannot protect you from,
Certain
that's just
things.
like saying
Everything.
we're gonna go do, like she said, we're gonna go do a murder spree, but NDA. So
Yeah.
they're gonna kill.
Just sign this real quick. It'll be fine.
Can you
That's
just
the
do
thing,
your own
you must
NDA so
realize
you
he's
can
gonna
talk about
get
your own
caught
crime and be
eventually.
like, I did not rob a bank. I signed something. So
Yeah. He said he wouldn't tell. He promised in the NDA.
He pinky swore.
Yeah, right.
he swore, yeah.
I think it's like when people get a certain amount of money, they just think they're invincible. Like, because to a certain extent they are, like
It's pretty damn close, which is sad. I mean,
Yeah.
the certain ones get caught, but they get a lot of years of just running wild and doing
Okay,
whatever
yeah,
the hell they want.
Says no NDA. They cannot protect illegal activity. They are designed to protect against confidentiality information and cannot prevent someone from reporting a crime to authorities. There you go.
Okay, so
Okay.
so
Good
that's
old
where it goes.
Google.
So these cross the line into crime, so the NDA doesn't block them. The NDA would be like, okay, don't tell what cereal they were eating for breakfast as the nanny. All right, you can't say Neil Gaiman eats golden crusted frosted flakes. You got to keep that shit to yourself. But when it's a crime, you gotta disclose that. So there we go. Now we know. Carissa has lawyered up for us and given us
Yeah.
the truth.
Please sign the NDA at the end of this broadcast.
Yeah. I'll be sending out NDAs for all the guests and anyone who's watching.
Moving on in this show live.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. All right. So moving on to something lighter. What is the best movie ending? Now, it could be any movie or TV show. I mean, it can be a television show as well.
I'm better
But
at the worst
last week,
endings.
this
I'm not
is connecting into last week because last week we were shitting on bad movie endings, bad TV show endings.
I'm
We
better at
came up with a giant list, and yes, I got angry at certain endings. I'm still mad at Titanic. Old Rose throwing that thing in the ocean and screwing her family for life. I'll never forgive her.
For a
But
second, I thought you meant that thing was Jack.
oh no, that
Well,
too.
See, I was like, did he not know the ship went down? And he's like mad about the how could they sink the ship? Like,
No, when she just goes whoops and drops that thing, I'm like, you got kids, you got grandkids. You could have set them up for life. They don't have to pay for college. They're gonna be perfectly set. And this poor dude who's made it his life's mission to find it, and she's like, no, fuck him. I don't like him. And just drops it in the
also,
ocean.
like,
And her
Rose
granddaughter who's
made
right
an
there.
entire family with another man and children that she loved, and
That's
then
the
she's
one.
gonna go and spend heaven with some dude she shagged on a cruise.
Yeah.
Not only that, is her husband waiting for her? And he's
Yes,
just
he already
sitting
did.
there like,
I feel like he's already
"Hey!"
dead. If not, he's like Count
Hey!
Dracula because she was ancient.
Okay,
Like,
but the other
yeah.
thing is, are you telling me that everyone that died on that ship is now required to be a maid for the rest of their life? Like, are they going to be a maid to them
crew.
while they're kissing? I might be thinking too much into this, but I'm just saying.
You know, it's
if I
more
die
like
as a maid on a ship.
that's
I
not a
don't know.
happy ending. That's more like the Shining's ending. Like you guys
Right.
are
You're
fucked.
trapped to
You're
serve
gonna
the
live
rich
in this.
forever.
It's like
Oh.
the Overlook
Okay.
boat.
Define best ending, because he's saying the best happy ending. These are two different things. Best
Any ending. I
or
have
best
a pick
happy
that's
ending?
not. I have a pick that's not a happy ending, but just holy crap, that was so good. Where you walk out because a bad ending of a movie, you walk out and you're angry because it
Mine's The
taints what
Mist.
came before it. But this is one good, bad, happy, sad, where the ending was just so damn good that you love it. And it could be movie, it could be TV. I said movie, but yeah, this one we have
I don't
Matt
know.
saying Blazing Saddles, which is a completely bonkers ending, very original. So yeah, I agree. That one is great. I hope no one here was picking Blazing Saddles because last week I was putting the chat ones up and we were getting people
Okay,
were
so can it be
saying
the
theirs.
best ending, but I don't like it?
Sure. What is
Okay,
yours?
then mine would be The Mist because it was really fucked
Oh,
up.
that
Yeah,
ending
yeah,
is
that was good.
fucked up, but it is so you don't forget that one.
Well, that's the thing. Like I hate to say it, but I like happy endings. Sorry, I didn't like the Van Helsing ending because she died. I didn't like it. Spoiler alert. But it was just like I like happy endings. I think life is depressing enough. However, I will never forget the ending to The Mist. Just like because I am very particular on how 1 second can change your life. This guy had like what 30 seconds to get out of the car before he would have saved everybody and all that stuff. So I think it was an absolutely horrible ending that I hated, but it was so good that I'll never forget it ever. So
yeah. And that's the thing is the impactful endings, not the ones that you just. I mean, there's some you remember because they're just so
I like what ifs. I'm a big what if person. Like I don't know if you watch Futurama, but there's a what if machine. That would be like 12 of them in my house. I would just be like, what if this? What if that? Even if it's the past, I want to know what if. So like, what if they showed up 4 seconds later, they would all be fine or whatever. So yeah, it was this close to being a happy ending. So I have to go with The Mist. So sorry if I stole anybody else's. So I read his questions, but I don't put thought into anything. So I hadn't even thought of an ending. So
okay, well you just came up with going. So Lori and Eric, what are you coming up with?
Do you want to go first or me?
You can go first.
The first thing that I thought of was Get Out. That's one of my favorite endings.
That's
that
a great
ending is
one.
just like he's, everything's gone to shit. Like he feels like, and then he's okay, he might get away, and then the cop car shows up and you're just like your chest gets tight. You're like, oh my god, this is over. Like he's gonna die here. Everybody's and then he's safe. Just that the way that ending is written and the way it makes you feel.
Did you ever see Skeleton Key? It's kind of like
that
but the opposite. Like it's just I don't want to say it now. You got to watch it, but yeah, I did see Get Out. That's a very good example. But I always root for I always root for them to get out. Like are they gonna get out? So I was so devastated.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. So what's yours, Eric?
The best ending. I don't know. I like depressing bad endings. I like it when everybody dies. I like it when no one gets out and stuff like that.
And that's one of mine is a depressing ending, but I won't say it because I don't want to steal yours if you happen to say that.
We were talking about just this movie in general the other day, but I really like the ending of The Descent where they just go through everything, and then it's like you still lose. It's like like one of those situations where Captain Picard said, you could do everything right and be perfect, and just the situation you can still lose. And they survived all of that, and then still it just wasn't enough, and then the torch just goes dark, and you're just like,
I liked it when
it just makes it seem like your life isn't as bad.
Yeah,
as
that's what I was
You're not in a
thinking
cave trapped in a monster or cave full of monsters. So you're
Yeah.
like, well, my life is kind of lame, but at least I'm not being bad.
Yeah,
Like,
there are worse ways to go. Yeah.
So
But yeah, I really thought that was like a really good ending, and you're just like, it also that ending can be used to set up other stories in the same universe. So it's like you get an end, but then it's like, oh, I can have a different tale of it instead of like continuing the same. Another one that's kind of like lame and like very pedestrian is Endgame with Avengers. You know, I had waited 40 years to see that, you know, Marvel's Endgame Avengers on the big screen, to see all of those superheroes, to see the like Thanos and stuff. And I'm just seeing that after reading comics for, you know, as long as I can read. It was kind of just a very powerful hit. Be it like Cheeseball, it's Marvel, who cares, you know? But just like experiencing that as a lifelong comic fan and reading those stories and seeing them on there, you're like, I don't care what your opinion on is Marvel. It kind of hit hard. Yeah. Even if you didn't think the acting was great or the effects were great, you're just like, you got to live in that time, like that. We got to see that for the first time, which and it's like, but whether you enjoyed the movie or not, it was an iconic ending.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, I just didn't like how they handled the Hulk.
That's they nerfed him, like they nerfed him for sure, but at the same time, it's like Hulk could really destroy so many people, and it's like, you know how they did like with Superman. It's like, you don't really need the Justice League if they actually have Superman powered how they are. They're like, I mean, they did it in Justice League where the League was struggling against Steppenwolf, and then Superman's like, hang on, guys, and just like slaps the fool around. You're just like, well, you don't really need us, so I feel like the Hulk would have had that effect on all the minions. Yeah, besides Thanos, but yeah, they did.
The Boys kind of plays into that with Homelander. The whole league that they have, they don't really need them. They're just all PR pieces. Yeah, and Homelander can do whatever because he's completely invulnerable to everything. So it's they're all just there so they can, you know, in that one they just make jokes like they got to get social media numbers and all that stuff. But none of them are needed to save anybody.
Yeah,
right.
And Superman's the same. Yeah, like Superman can handle everything because, you know, who's going to ever stop him? Even when he gets beat, he comes back. So yeah, like you said, bring in Superman, he'll slap him around, let the other guys futz around for a minute, and then Superman comes and destroys them all.
Putz around.
I like that.
I mean, you're not wrong.
All right, so Aaron, what's your pick on this one?
For TV series, Breaking Bad.
Okay, yeah, that was a great ending.
Great series. I think it's probably my favorite series all the way through. Is amazing. Actually, the director of The Descent, Dog Soldiers, I love that ending too.
I love Dog Soldiers.
Oh yeah,
we love Dog Soldiers.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
So they're my two pick.
Okay, so I had one happy, one sad. Like I think of with bad endings, but they're still impactful and they get you just shaking. And that was the end of Seven. I remember seeing that one in the theater, and you know, when the box comes out and you realize that, you know, that it's his wife's head, it's such a powerful ending, and it just kind of closes the movie out at that point. It is
spoilers.
Such a dark, spoilers for a movie that came out when I was
I will say my husband has never seen it, so we watched it 2 days ago because I was sick of him not knowing what it meant when I said what's in the box. So literally made him watch it.
Anytime an Amazon box comes, that's the question. And if you haven't seen it, he's just like, I don't know, what did you order? So it's gonna go way out of context. But yeah, that ending, talking about, like Eric was saying, the bad endings, it's not a happy ending, but it's impactful and it's amazing. But kind of going into the happy endings, when you get Shawshank Redemption and you finally get Red and Andy meeting together out of the prison and they get to reunite. I did love that ending, and that's one of those happy endings. So one of each. So one of the great happy endings, one of the great sad endings, but both of them are memorable. And so many movies, they just kind of end and you're like, you can't even remember or care what happened, because a lot of the endings are, let's end to set up another movie. Let's end to build a sequel. And with The Descent, it could build a franchise, but it's also just a great ending. And Matt was saying that they had two endings on that one.
Yes.
And I actually just rewatched the movie, the first Smile movie last night. And that's another messed up ending where you get supposed happy ending, like they twist it and you think she's escaped, she's going back to that boyfriend and apologizing, and then it flips and it's like, nope, you're still in that house and you're still dealing with the entity, and in the end it's gonna win.
So they did that in 1 and 2, so 2 wouldn't be a surprise if they did it again, right?
Yeah, I mean, the way they do it, they don't generally give happy endings in that, but I like that they don't. It's like, okay, you're not going to defeat it. It's an undefeatable monster. So yeah, I enjoyed that one, and I kind of like The Descent, where it's like it's setting up franchises, but it's also setting up you're not going to win. So
I like
that is sometimes my favorite.
Have you watched Let Us In? One with the hand.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good ending.
Yeah, I like that one as well.
Let Us In.
Oh, Let Us In. Yeah.
And I know, are they talking about a sequel for that one? I don't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an easy one to do sequels for. All right. So our last subject before we talk about these live campaigns that are going on right now is a guilty pleasure movie. This is one that you watch and you're not going to tell all your friends about, although all my friends know I watch the worst movies and I enjoy them. But what's the one that you watch, your guilty pleasure movie that you can watch anytime? And Aaron, you've had to go last every time, so I'm going to put you first this time.
Okay,
so
good.
Aaron, what's your favorite guilty pleasure movie?
Any Studio Ghibli film.
Oh, I don't think
Why
those are
would they do
guilty
that?
pleasures,
Oh,
though.
Guilty.
Well, I suppose I don't really have a guilty. That's just the films I like watching. If there's
those are amazing films.
Yeah.
Aliens. I kind of watch that. I've watched that a million times with my son. He
That
loves
just
it.
made it an amazing movie. Do not talk about aliens.
Yeah.
Man.
I don't really have any guilty pleasures. I just watch what I like watching.
Yeah, it's not really guilty. I mean,
Yeah, I tried to think of like a bad movie that I like.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is like
Yeah.
just these bad movies that people would be like, you like that? And
I don't think of anything. I just watch what I want.
yeah,
I
you
don't
say
care what other
Ghibli
people
movies;
think.
those are like renowned movies. So not
Yeah,
guilty, but amazing
Catherine
movies.
Zeta-Jones was my favorite movie.
Your happy pleasure movie. So we can go.
They're my
there.
happy
So,
pleasure movies.
Yeah. So Lori, what did you have for this one?
I picked Multiplicity.
Okay, yeah, that's a good
I love
one for that.
movie.
we recently watched that, and you're just like, it's just Michael Keaton at his best.
Yeah,
And it's just like because it's like it was like that was the movie that was like right before Batman, and that was the movie that's like they're like, really? Multiplicity Man is gonna be Batman? Yeah. It's like we repeat every single time someone gets cast as a new actor. But you watch that movie and he's like, God, it's so fucking funny, and it's like
yeah, it's so
just-
good.
It's timeless. There's nothing there's like you can watch it and there's like nothing like that would be considered offensive like by today's time, which is crazy. And it's just so well put together, and just people like it's like dismissed as just like a 90s like forgotten movie, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't get the love it deserves. And like you said,
really fun.
even with Michael Keaton getting kind of a renaissance, people aren't saying go back and watch that. And they should. It's such a good movie. And I use that movie all the time when I'm talking about bands, because I say, okay, the first clone of a band, like take Pearl Jam, for example. The first clone would be Stone Temple Pilots. But when you clone the clone, you get Creed. And that's
a good way of putting
it. The Michael Keaton clone of clone. I'm like, okay, the first one's tolerable, but then the next one has no brain. So yeah, I use that all the time. I think I said this is the multiplicity effect of music, and now we're getting the clone of clone, and that's where you get the really bad stuff. So
yes,
yeah, they were kind of doing that in X-Men for a while. They're like, yeah, we're cloning everybody, and then like the clone at the end of it, you're like Magneto was just like in a wheelchair, couldn't control his powers, and you're just like,
yes, clones of clones. But yeah, I love that movie as well. So it's funny because it just deserves so much love, but I guess they need to just put it on one of the streamers and boost it up, and they can be like the top movie on Netflix or Hulu or whatever, and let it get some love and build an audience that it deserves, because like you said, it's one of his greatest performances, because he's doing multiple levels of Michael Keaton. So such a good movie. Agreed.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like if you rewatching it now too, after we saw the new Beetlejuice, like you can see Beetlejuice vibes in one of the clones. You can see the different. It's ridiculous.
Also, that movie came out in a weird time period, because it's like it was adult humor when it was like Gen X were like 20 and Boomers were like our age, and so it's like I feel like my parents aren't going to go back and watch Multiplicity. They
No.
you know, they were doing everything else. The Gen Xers might, but in the millennials, we didn't pay any attention to it because we were kids when it came out and it was for adults.
Yeah.
And as millennials, we're going to go back and then be interested in a movie we weren't interested in as kids. It's like you have to like know that it's a good movie, because looking at it, you're like, why would I be interested in this? Because I never was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it needs to
it
get
tells you
trending
what.
somehow to
Yeah.
get some love. Something in it needs to trend and make, like you said, the millennials and the younger ones want to watch it, short of me just plopping my children down and saying, okay, we're going to watch this movie. You're going to like it. It'll be fun.
So
Right.
if all of us watch Multiplicity tonight, it'll put it higher up in the algorithm and more
So there you
people
go.
see it. So maybe
love that
we can
movie.
start and get that movie
Yeah,
out.
everybody watching.
Yeah, at the same
watch
time.
Multiplicity.
Yeah.
So watch it. And yes, then you'll understand when, like, if I make that reference with bands and some people be like, I've never seen Multiplicity. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, you need to see it. So then just remember that Stone Temple Pilots are the first clone and Creed is the next one.
I love that analogy though. That's amazing.
All right. So Carissa, what's your, or Eric, you didn't go on this one.
Oh, if I'm just like kind of, if she's gone, she's out running errands to clean and do stuff,
Mhm.
I'll put on the real Ghostbusters, the animated
cartoon
from
Yeah.
1984. It's written well. I mean, and then also like some of the it's kind of fun reliving the ghosts,
Mhm.
and especially the boogeyman, because the boogeyman creeped me out and still creeps me out because of the way he's drawn and stuff. But yeah, just like having those like old ass like morning cartoons that are just
Mhm.
like so cheeseball, and completely opposite of the Ascent ending. It's always a fun ending, you know, on
Yeah.
those shows.
Yeah,
But
always-
and they're
always
just, like,
wraps up
short, and
beautifully.
and then you just get like nostalgic dopamine while you're listening,
Mhm.
and you stop and you remember a scene, and you're kind
Yeah.
of takes you back a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's something I would never like actually put on and sit down and run a marathon or have a movie night for. It's just kind of like,
yeah.
I'm by myself. I love Ghostbusters. Let's put it on.
Yeah, that's a perfect one.
Yeah.
And pretty much that goes to so many 80s cartoons. Like I've tried to
Yes.
rewatch Masters of the Universe, and that was my friggin' passion as a child. I loved them so much, and I
Yeah.
can't get through an episode now. They are just so bad. Yet I will turn them on, kind of like you said. If it's just background, it's a perfect little background thing. And yeah, the plots are bad. They wrap up so easily. The villains are so easily disposed, but I just love it. And my kids, they know all the characters because they've seen me with figures and things like that. But yeah, they're like, Dad, this is just not good. I'm like, well, you're gonna have your nostalgia stuff as well. And my oldest watched Bratz and tried to rewatch Bratz the other day. She's like, oh, that did not go well. It's so bad now. So I'm like, yeah, welcome to my life. Now there's your He-Man. So
Yeah.
it just ages poorly, but there's no, the adult nerds like me aren't going to be buying Bratz dolls. So it's kind of like we're still buying those He-Man figures, even though we know the show is crap. And they've tried to reboot it a few times and it's still not great. I haven't even watched the Kevin Smith one because I'm like, I didn't really love the characters. I guess I love the adventures I created myself with the toys.
Yeah.
I wrote better stories than some of that stuff that was on the show. And in your brain, that's the nostalgia you have for it, is playing with them, building your own stories and worlds. And then you rewatch the ones that were actually on TV, and they don't age well. And I think that's kind of her with Bratz or Monster High. It doesn't age well in that way, but you're going to have that nostalgia for it forever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, Carissa, what did you pick on this one?
I have so many levels of cringe though. Like I have Con Air, which I don't think is a bad movie, but I have been told a bad movie. That's one of my favorite movies. But I also like really, really bad movies like Lavalantula, which is the tarantulas with the lava things. But that had Steve Guttenberg in it. So we went back and watched Police Academy, which by the way, I still think is an amazing movie, but like the rating is like 2 on 2, like 20. I think it was like
Are you
30.
watching like number 5 in Miami or the original one?
Yeah.
The original Police Academies, the first 3 have low scores, like in the 30s on Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
No, those are great.
What
Those
is
are
that?
fun movies.
What
They're great
terrible
movies.
timeline
I
are
love
we on?
Bobcat in that. I think he cracks me up. And my husband, of course, has never seen them because he's never watched 80s or 90s movies. So
Okay.
I love. He actually liked it, and I was really worried when I saw the score. Where I was like, "All right, listen, I haven't watched this since the '80s. I
It may
don't
not
know.
age well.
I remember loving it, but the score is like 23%. But he thought it was funny, so it was good. But
But
yeah,
those aren't really critic movies. Those are
That's
those aren't the
bullshit.
kind of movies the critics are gonna rave over. They're just
Yeah.
looking at it like, okay, it's just, silly cheeseball comedy. But yeah, I've seen them all. Yeah, you don't want to watch the Miami one. Once
Yeah.
they start losing the principal cast, things go
yeah,
way
no, I like that.
downhill.
If you want a real like guilty pleasure that maybe people never heard of, you can go watch Trailer Park Shark, because I love really bad
Hmm.
shark movies.
Mm.
And even the shark, it's so bad that there's a burn mark on it, and it switches from side to side
Oh,
depending
nice.
on the
Nice.
mo-
Did
on
you
the-
see
on the
Snow
tune.
Shark, where like the Native American spirit
It's on
possesses
my
the
list to
snow
watch.
shark, and it swims around in snow and comes up out of the snow like water?
Mm.
I have not. It's on my list. I did watch Ghost Shark, but I don't find that cringy. So I love Ghost Shark.
There's also a
no.
Santa Shark for the holidays.
Santa Shark, yes.
Yes.
I will say I watched Cocaine Shark, and there was no cocaine or shark in it. And then but if you want,
What?
yeah, I don't know.
Just
They
about a dude they
had
called the
dreams, and
Cocaine Shark?
I think that they dreamed about being sharks, but that's not cocaine. So I don't know what was going on. But I will say that yesterday I got my copy of Young Hercules on DVD in the mail, and I will say it is a little bit cringier than I remember it being.
For sure.
Especially Strife, it was a little bit more cringy. But it has Ryan Gosling, and it was still awesome. So
Was that like right after Xena and Hercules, the Kevin?
yeah,
Sorbo?
it was.
That's
It's
right
a
after, right?
prequel to her younger. It's a prequel to Kevin Sorbo's Hercules,
okay.
so it's got all the same gods and whatever. But it's Ryan Gosling, which I forgot it was Ryan Gosling. But I loved it when I was a teenager. So I bought. It was like the whole box set. Like it was like 4 seasons for like $18. I was like, how was I not gonna not get this?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
demand for young Hercules is probably not very much right now.
Yeah, you're gonna grab that on the cheap. I think even the regular Hercules, the Kevin Sorbo one, you rewatch those and they don't age very well. The especially the effects. I mean, the stories are fine, but the effects are pretty rough.
I didn't mind the. I mean, I've only watched the first one so far, but the Phoenix was very bad, and I was even like, that's not too bad. But the acting for most of them was very, very cringe.
Yeah.
But yeah, still worth my $18. So
Hey, you got a bargain. The complete series for that. And for me, it's always like cheesy 80s horror movies are my guilty pleasure. And my wife has no connection to them because she didn't sneak up late at night and try to watch them on HBO when the parents were asleep. So I think of like Night of the Demons. I freaking love that movie. I showed it to her. She's like, this is so bad. It's
Is that
like
the one in
the
the
acting's
theater, or
bad.
is that Demons?
What's that? Night of the Demons, and then Demons with the movie theater, the
I haven't seen
Italian
either
one. I love both of those. I've tried to show both of them to my wife. She was not feeling the vibe like I was. I'm like, oh, but this Goblin score, it's so good. She's like, It's like, you watch that on your own, sir. So yeah,
Like,
so that those are
with
two.
you. Like, I want to talk about it with you.
Yeah, and I told her,
I've seen it.
I said, you don't watch these movies going in for high art. Start talking shit and we have fun. Well, Mystery Science Theater right in our living room.
Right.
And just talk trash about this movie. So as we were watching this year, because every Halloween I forced Night of the Demons, and as we were watching it this year, we just started talking shit along the way, and it became a fun viewing.
Baby. That's the point.
Mhm.
That's
It
why
was-
that
it
show was
was-
so popular.
I said we don't need to sit in silence and admire this art. It's not art. It's garbage, but it's beautiful garbage, and I love
Our
it. And-
garbage.
Right.
and
Oscar, when
that
you
one
see
too,
where he
the
tears his
de-
eyeballs out, and you see the spaghetti sauce coming out of his
Yeah,
eye
exactly.
socket. It's amazing. You have to watch it, babe.
When is that bad? Yeah. So as soon as she watched it going in to make fun of it, we had a good time. That
Right.
one and the Demons, I guess the Demons, both those movies. One's with the movie theater where everyone starts turning into a monster demon, and I have a great time with that one. But then there's a sequel, and she's like, I cannot bring myself to watch a sequel to that.
I have never heard of demons until I posted. I had gotten my co-writer we got. So I'm not I don't celebrate. I mean, Christmas is not my favorite holiday. Halloween is, but my husband's he loves shiny lights, so he loves Christmas. So I was complaining about having to put this tree up when it's not really something I care about. So we got a black tree for Halloween that I can get now. Then I had to get it for my co-writer, and our tree skirt are all the horror 80s and 90s horrors. And I did not know that one. And I posted it. And of course, Facebook did not let me down. And it was Demons, where the green stuff's coming out of her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have not seen it yet. It is on my list now because I'm like, I can't have the tree skirt, not know what one of them is.
Sure.
So,
Oh yeah,
You don't want to be a poser now.
It's great. I love it. My wife, like I said, she tolerates it, but won't watch the sequel. And the sequel is even more fun to make fun of because it's terrible. I admit it, but I love it. And yeah, I just remember as a kid, it would be parents fell asleep, stay up as late as you can to watch the horror movies that are going to have lots of cheesy blood and probably some nudity. And for a 10-year-old kid, what more are you really asking for in the world?
Yeah, it's like you don't care about the movie, you care about the experience that you're chasing.
Yeah, and then you go tell your friends about it the next day. You're like, "Oh my gosh, I saw this movie last night, and this happened, and this happened," and then they're trying to stay up late and sneak a watch of it as well. And yeah, that's
you watch it together at the sleepover, and you're like, "Holy shit!" Like,
oh yeah,
you're just
over.
I can get my husband to watch any movie if I do not show him the trailer ahead of time. Even if it's the most amazing movie ever, he will not like the trailer and not want to watch it. If he doesn't see the trailer, he'll watch it, he'll like it, he'll be fine. But for some reason, every time he sees a trailer, it's we can watch it sometime, but not today, which means never. So
well, yeah, you don't want to watch the trailer for any of those movies I was talking about. They're all so bad, and they're just poorly put together. Sometimes they'll give you the entire plot of the movie, and yeah, they're not good. I wouldn't watch it if I saw those trailers, but I was sneaking up to watch them when I was young, and yeah, that experience. And then, like you said, if you're having a sleepover with your friends, we're gonna stay up late and we're gonna watch this thing, and we're gonna talk about it the next morning because all the crazy stuff that 10-year-olds shouldn't be watching. And I'm thinking as someone who teaches 10-year-olds, I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't be watching that shit. I shouldn't have been either. But
up to watch these. Because now I'm realizing that I watched all of these when I was 6. So
oh wow!
I watched Watership Down when it was 6 with the rabbits being torn apart. This stuff probably explains my love of horror, but I'm realizing now it could have went a whole other way.
Yeah,
so,
that film is messed up.
Yeah, that's a dark moment for a child if they think, cool, a cartoon with a rabbit. Oh, damn, never mind.
I loved it. I read the book 3 times. I love the movie. I don't know. I watched Cujo when I was 6. I watched Nightmare on Elm Street 3 when I wasn't supposed to. I was hiding on the stairs. But generally, my mom's like, oh, it's a cartoon, The Last Unicorn, which isn't bad, but there's some moments in there that you're
dark
like,
for kids. Yeah,
it is dark. Yeah,
the art is gorgeous though. So
it is.
and the fire ox is in my supernatural western, so I love it.
I did the sneaking in the hallway to watch the movies thing. That's where I saw the first Vacation when Beverly D'Angelo gets the little naked scene, and I just remember sneaking in the hallway to watch that, and completely unneeded nudity in the movie, gratuitous, but like I said, because that came out when I was 9, so yeah, the little 9-year-old me was just like, ooh, beautiful. They tell me I can't watch it. I want to find out why I shouldn't watch this movie.
Right.
I can't think of one movie that was banned from my house. Like it was just like no holds bars. Just like, whatever. We didn't have curfews. We didn't have. Well, I'm a boring kid. I didn't go anywhere. But I mean, we didn't have like bedtimes because as long as you got up for school, she's like, I don't care if you go to bed an hour before, but you're getting up for school, so you learn pretty quickly. You can't go to bed an hour before, but yeah. So. There should have been some guidance, I guess, on movies.
So I guess my guilty pleasures, all 80s horror flicks, the cheesy ones, the HBO late nights, almost Cinemax version of horror movies, sorority babes at the Slime Bowl-orama, and all that kind of good stuff. Yes. It's bad, but I still love it. I think I bought them all on DVD, probably for the cheap prices like Carissa was getting. Like, all right,
25 cents
for $1.99 at the, or $1.25 at the Dollar Tree. There it is, and
exactly.
Hell yes, it's the special edition with director's commentary. I want to hear what the hell he was thinking.
They just apologizing the whole time. I'm sorry I made this. God, I'm sorry you bought this. No refunds though.
Yeah. It's like, it's cool. I paid $1.25. I'm not crying. My wife's just, sometimes she'll walk in the room just like, no. She's like, you're on your own for this one. I can't cross that line and watch this god-awful stuff with you. But then she's watching the same version of shitty romance movies from the 80s. So I'm like,
Yeah.
excuse me, this is not high art you're watching, but
I
everyone's got their
actually,
guilty
I gotta tell you,
pleasures.
those movies are awful, but I could see the appeal because I don't watch them. I don't watch any cheesy, chick flicks or anything.
Mhm.
But if one of those reels shows up and it's the really, really bad acting and how they're pretending to not be billionaires while they go
Yeah.
on a date and get married, I don't know. I can't turn it off. Like I'm just like, this isn't good at all. And I know it's not good. It's like, how worse can this get? And
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like if you enjoy it, who the hell cares?
I don't.
No
I just can't
judgment.
stop watching. It's like a train wreck. Like you gotta
Yeah.
see it.
Mhm.
I agree. But yeah, let's move on now to campaign talk. We all have something to share. Mine's not live yet, but we have 3 live campaigns. So, Carissa, I'm going to pull yours up first. Yours is the one making all the money.
Taking
It's not
everything
me.
from Kickstarter.
It's not me. It's the cover. I hate getting credit for it. I didn't do shit. My wallet did it. You can thank my credit cards.
Hey, you paid for the cover, so that is your win.
I'll take my debt will take it. My debt has no complaints whatsoever. But
Yes.
I'm just
So
like,
it just went up. It just went up when I clicked on it. So there you go.
yeah. Actually, it's kind of funny because I just saw it go up. He wrote to me at 3:00 in the morning asking me about another campaign, and he's one of the ones that does that. He loves the little things in the add-on, so I knew he would love this campaign. So I'm like, while you're messaging me at 3 a.m., here's a link for you. And then he just
Nice.
was like $200. I was like, yeah, I knew it. So
Gotta love that.
yep.
All right. So tell us what this is all about.
Okay, so for anyone that doesn't know for anyone that knows Redemption, that one's a horror action, survival horror. They're on the run from demons and angels and whatever. But that's more horror, this is more supernatural adventure. It's not as cutthroat as the other one. But it's still, of course, not boring because I don't know how to do boring. So this one is all the same characters set in the 1880s. And for anyone that watches Supernatural or likes to do any of that stuff, we have journals you can buy. You don't have to collect the journals, but if you buy the journal pages are free. And every campaign, whatever monsters or cryptids are in the background or they interact with, because in the first 3 issues, they're all in the background, then they start to interact. But for you will get as long as you back that campaign, you'll get the pages for free. So if you buy the journal, the pages for the rest will be free. So you can follow along with that, and she'll be putting them in her journal from now to now. So you each have a journal. Issue 2 will bring on the map where you could follow the cryptids and store them on the map. And then in 3, we're going to have the jars you can collect for anyone that wants to get cryptid jars. We have the traveling apothecary box that you could store the map, the journal, and all the jars in. So the main premise of it is that they're obviously in the 1800s and they have to. That's the cover, by the way, that everyone loves. This is Derek Q. He is an artist, DC cover artist. Huge following of like 80,000. And yeah, I think he posted it on Instagram, which I don't know how to use, but it has 2,400 likes. So
nice cover.
Yeah, you can't really post a link on that, but whatever. But yeah, everyone loves it, and he adjusted the outfit a little. I was like, good outfit. But yeah, so it's a very popular cover. Here are the pages from our new artist. There's a lot of lettering there, but I didn't want to spoil anything, and I like the page because it's their first meeting in this 1800. There's our demons. We have the aura to show, which by the way is a stupid thing that I did because now I can't remember all the pages. I got to remember to put the aura on everything. And then here's our page of Bigfoot in the background, the Wendigo, and our Apollo rat who has a little sun on his eye. He actually becomes a main character later. He's also in one of our prequels. But anyway, so that's Apollo. So you're gonna follow.
I found this campaign because I fell in love with that panel of Sasquatch putting Wendigo in a half Nelson, and I fucking saved that picture because I thought it was the most hilarious thing I've ever seen on the internet. I was like, this is amazing. There's a Sasquatch putting a Wendigo in a half Nelson. Like, what WWE shit is this? I think I showed you guys this campaign.
I think you posted it because that was the exact phrase you used. So yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I have that saved on my phone. I was gonna put it as a background because
There
it's
you
so
go.
ridiculous.
I don't sell them, but I have the original art. But I mean, I can have my artist do one for you.
Oh my god, amazing.
Yeah.
I
So
was like, that's familiar.
So
Yeah.
in the story, the long term of it is they have to, or at least the first part of it, they have to hunt down 20 different cryptids to get these certain ingredients from them, but they cannot kill the cryptid or it ruins the power of the item. So they have to get like fur from Bigfoot. They have to get a part of the antler from the Wendigo without killing it. They have to get a tooth from a werewolf, blood from our clotters, which is our mutated vampires. So a claw from the chupacabra, and so all of those are going to have their own jars with the ingredient in it. And it's going to have a charm that it comes with. So that's going to start issue 3. Again, you don't have to collect these. This is not choose your own adventure, but they're just fun to kind of follow along because she's going to collect them in jars and put them in her apothecary box. So it's kind of interactive. I don't do stretch goals. I do personal stretch goals. So if you pledge a certain amount, you get a sticker and then you will get whatever. All of our Kickstarters comes with the PDF, or all the tiers comes with the PDF. These also come with issue 1 and 2 of Redemption. So you're actually getting 2 whole issues also included in all the tiers, even the PDF. So if you pay $5, you're going to get all the covers and then you're going to get the 2 extra issues. For anyone that doesn't know me, I am considered the queen of merch for a reason. However, I want credit. I scaled my 40 reward tiers down to 27. So
Hey.
Yeah, that makes the
so-
Kickstarter easier to run a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
no, it's only because it's issue 1. I'll get there. But every Kickstarter has 1 to 3, at least 1 to 3 new cryptids, and there is a plushie for every cryptid. There is a 3D printed for every cryptid, stickers and pins and everything. So there are full on galore. So my readers know this. They usually come for the merch, stay for the story kind of thing. But any of the items in the reward tiers will be also in the add-ons, except like the handmade clay statues of the Wendigo and the Bigfoot. So but you can get those in a tier. You can get the 3D printed ones though. They're created in clay first and then they're scanned and then they're 3D printed, which is so much cheaper than hiring an artist to do the scan, to do the file. Because everyone wanted $250. Like now I get a statue and then I get the file. So
So is it like the clay that the original is made out of? Is that why am I losing the type of clay?
this is it's a soft
Polymer.
no. So he has 2 versions of them. I don't like the real clay or the polymer. This is actually like a foam clay. I can't believe it comes out so he hates it. He hates it so much, but I love it. It makes it look like a stuffed animal to me. So you can see him there. He's even got his little
Yeah.
thing,
that's
and he's
I wonder
got
if
the
he uses
little
cost clay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
spine on the back and all that fun stuff. So he was done really well. He has a sparkle in his eye.
Yeah, so that's really nice. Really
So
cool.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I actually I have 2 extra ones of these. Usually I do 1 and I keep it. But this one's he's kind of like our mascot. Like Anubis is our mascot in Redemption. He's our mascot in this. So there is an extra one. I bought 1 for me, 1 for my co-writer, and then I think I have 1 or 2 to sell. And then the clay, I mean the printed one, you can't really see it, can you? It's really detailed. No, you can't see. Anyway, it's really detailed. And I have not shipped one yet, so we'll see how that goes. But I also
We can guarantee it'll get there in one piece if you give it to us.
Yep, that's
See, Lori and Eric circling
Yeah.
back.
I'm
They'll
telling
get
you.
your stuff out because you got a lot you're gonna have to mail out. And
Man, if I
why the
knew
hell
them before, I
Lori
would
and Eric
them
have you
shipped.
covered.
They could have shipped all my Anubis because that damn staff is the bane of my existence because it breaks every time. I've tried every single stuffing, cotton, paper, cardboard. I'm probably going to ship them Horus then because I'll have the Horus sent to them because he's got the stupid spear. So anyway, that was a tangent to go on. That's the other series. That's it. So if anyone likes Anubis,
that's next month, right? That you're launching the next one.
February 17th is the issue 13 of Redemption. And I tell the story on every single time. I could have been smart. gotten out of debt because 5 issues of Redemption are already made and in hand. They're 18's getting drawn as we speak. I could have did 5 Kickstarters, gotten all my money, got out of debt, but no, we started a series. So go support the series. So my stupidity will know no bounds, and I'll do more of it.
Yes.
But yeah, this was a spur of the moment thing. I was like, we always had the last issue written of Devastation. It's because it's the reason why Redemption is so messed up in the head is because of what happens at the end of the story. However, we didn't have any of the other story written. So 3 months ago, we decided to write it because I wanted to see them in a cowboy outfit. Yes, it's the stupidest reason possible. And it kind of spiraled out of control, and now we're up to, I think, issue 20. So that's going to be somewhat of a long series. So
that's a good problem to have, though.
Yeah. Well, Redemption has 125 issues, so whoops, but whatever. But anyway, yeah. So this one ends next Friday. So
nice.
So search Worthy Chaos, and I know there's links everywhere. Search Worthy Chaos. It's the easiest way to get us. 15 things will pop up because I'm on Psycho, but there's there, and also the pre-launch for issue 13's there, and that launches February 17th. And there you go. So
yeah, and you never have to wait. If you buy, your rewards come faster than you can imagine. So every month there's a new Carissa book coming in your mailbox.
Well, okay, so with this series is special because of the artist. So everything's in hand except the metal covers. The glow in the dark covers are metal. All the metal covers will be shipped probably 3 weeks after the ending. Everything else will be shipped 1 week after. So it's a little longer for metal covers, but I'm assuming nobody's gonna even notice. So yeah. Everyone else. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that because one time I didn't have the link for the next one at the very end of my Kickstarter. Because usually I say, okay, it ended. Here's the link. I didn't have it. Kickstarter didn't approve it, and I got all these emails. What happened? Where's the next one? So I posted it a week later. It had like 80 follows in like 4 seconds. So that was an ego boost for me. So
yes.
Yeah.
All right. So let's take a look at Learning the Curve. So let me pull that one up for us. And this one goes into last week's. We talked about not safe for work books, and I think, is this a not safe for work, or is it just lots of curvy women?
Both.
Hey, that's perfect.
Yeah, I mean,
curvy woman.
Yeah, it's a little of both. It's kind of an art journey through through the artists, like working on drawing beautiful women, but also like learning how to color, learning how to ink, and then also trying to learn how to draw women of all shapes and sizes and colors. And we've got all kinds of cool merch that we added to it too. We have wax melt that smells amazing. We have Pogs.
Going back to the day with Pogs, that's cool.
Yes.
Hitting the 90s nostalgia button on that one.
It was an interesting experience emailing the Pog company and being like, are you okay with nude Pogs? Like, it just felt really weird. Like,
dumb question. Like,
they're probably like, you want a Pog, we'll make whatever the hell you want on it.
Right.
The Pog market is small right now.
Right.
Yeah, they can't really pick and choose their clients,
They're not here. Right. They don't have the right. They don't have the luxury of being picky anymore. Not when it comes to Pogs.
Yeah. So the idea is just, it's beautiful women, all shapes and sizes, all styles. It comes in digital format, of course, and then we have a hardcover format. It should come with, some nice, like he was saying, the soft touch.
Yeah, soft touch cover.
Yeah,
feel good.
Has a wax smell. You can smell what it's kind of like a strawberry
the wax melt. Very cool.
Cheesecake, I think.
Yeah, it smells so good.
The Pogs.
And then the Pogs.
Yes, I love it.
We're actually also doing, it hasn't been announced yet because he's finishing designing it, but we're doing a cross promo with Bad Bug for Vanya. I want to say it's Vanya 7 or 8. It might be 8 at this point. We're doing a slammer if you back both of our campaigns, because he has Pogs on his campaign too. That was a fun conversation because neither me nor Bad Bug Media knew that each other were doing Pogs, and we decided at the same time to do
The
Pogs.
same
So
campaign.
you found it at the same moment. That's so cool though, because I've got a lot of merch and things like that, and you see plenty of it. But Pogs are something they were so huge for a moment in time, and there's going to be a nostalgia market for them. And
If
getting
you
the
watch
slammer so you can
Simpsons,
actually
Millhouse buys
play
Alf out of
is even
Pogs,
better.
so-
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, they banned Pogs when they came out right away, and I feel like that's why it didn't gain traction, because we had them, and then the elementary school's like, "Oh, they're gambling? Not today, kids."
Yeah. Oh my
And then
gosh.
my Pog journey ended.
That was my first year of teaching when Pogs started to get big, and I confiscated so many Pogs I couldn't even tell you.
So
Because
see, you took
that
my
was
Pog.
the
Thank you.
object. Like we were told by the principal, confiscate the Pogs, and I'm like, shit. Now I'm the man. That sucks.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's an amazing thing, and I know that you're going to find a nostalgia market for that for sure. And then we have one more campaign, and both of those are fully funded. The first two we talked about, they are funded, so you'll get your stuff. If you back them, you'll get your stuff. I am still so tempted about that hardcover, and you sold it even better. You said it's just a beautiful book.
You know you want to
has
pet
that
it.
great feel. I do, and it's like it'll bring me back to looking at beautiful art and the sneaky 10-year-old who was trying to find nudity, and I can get it all in one place.
Yeah.
So it's like, come on, what am I thinking? I gotta rethink my life and buy that book.
Yeah, and you're old enough, you don't have to hide it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and I have to maybe explain to my wife, like, no, this is art, honey. It's true art.
An indie creator too. It's not a corporation. It's not corporate entity. Every dollar spent goes to literally helping someone's life.
Yes,
and literally helping everyone else make more art for
she knows that as the wife of an indie creator, she knows about it's like, this isn't feeding the machine. This is helping real people get real products out there. So that's the beauty of it. So buy both of these, buy all three, because Aaron's going to tell us about his as well. So just give me one quick second. All right, so Ice and Bone. Tell us a little bit about that one.
It is the sequel series to Blood and Fire. It's a supernatural action horror samurai. So if you like sword wielding, decapitating, then you'll love this.
Two of my favorite things.
Yeah, it's pretty much in a nutshell. There's love, family, honor, betrayal, and heaps of revenge.
So decapitation. So
and decapitations.
Yes.
So this follows on probably like a couple months after Blood and Fire finishes, and continues the story of the power vacuum of what happens in Blood and Fire, where the fall of the Ishida house, because the country is in like a massive civil war. They're all fighting for territory. It's like if one house suddenly vanishes, like there's a power vacuum, and a warlord is who sees it as his own, his rights to the territory. He kind of starts moving in, and that's where the story kind of starts from, and kicks ass.
Sounds good. I read the original series. I love it. So yeah, this is recommended. Get it. It's got its good blood and just the beautiful art. I love the art style in this one. Is this the same artist that does an Enra with you?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Same artist.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks similar. I love both those books. So yeah, definitely check this one out. This one it's not funded yet, correct? Is it getting close?
I'm about 81%.
Okay, so you're close. You're getting there.
Crime. It's a beautiful looking book.
It is. So people need to back it, and we got another little not safe for work cover. So yes, kind of circling back to last week.
Yes, I said I was never going to do that, but I was like, why not?
Yeah, and then you talked about I don't know, because when you're talking about it for your horror book, I don't know if people want to like possess demon nude on the cover, but then again, I don't know. Maybe.
But if they don't want it, they don't have to buy it.
True,
True.
you got
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
So
options.
there are those who would
Options.
want it, and if you get Carissa's artist to do it, you will make all the money. You'll pay all the money too, but you will make it.
He's amazing, and he's so humble. Annoys the hell out of me. I was like, how do you not know how amazing you are? Shut up.
Oh no, I'm definitely going to be hitting him up when
I
I
already ordered another one, man. I have to wait till April. I'm just like,
Yeah, I got to hit him up for my Dracula Sherlock Holmes one. I could have him do a really
when
cool
is that
Mina
coming? I've been
on the
waiting for
cover.
that one. When is that one going live?
It's kind of delayed because my artist had a few family issues going on, so she's now needing a little bit of time. So hopefully summer we'll be putting that out, and yeah, that one.
Hopefully for Nashville. Well,
I'm hoping it'll be ready for Nashville, and I'm actually hoping it'll be ready for Free Comic Book Day because we both do signing at the same one, so it'd be great to have that. And I know she said she's getting back to work. She's about halfway done with the art, so should move pretty quick once she finishes that.
Are you at the Nashville Con this year?
I haven't got anything back from them, but I applied.
No,
you're fine.
I already wrote them. They said I'm approved. They just didn't send the invoice yet, so you're probably fine.
All right, I'll send them an email.
They're
But
so slow.
seeing as we both were there last year, I should be there, and I'm hopefully holding Dracula. But I'm thinking his would be a great one to do the cover for Dracula Sherlock Holmes because it's a #1 to like. Okay, here I'm going to have him do a cover for Immortal Era 13. Like, people aren't rushing for 13s, but an issue 1 would be perfect. Although I guess if he's the artist, they'll buy an issue 13 anyway.
No, but I
fair.
agree because actually he was. So I waited 10 months for him to do it, mostly because I couldn't really afford it. So every time he delayed it, I was like, okay. But it was for redemption, and it was for like issue, like you said, like I think it was like, well, whatever issue got done, because I'm like, you know, got 100 of them. But it was going to be like a probably no earlier than 18. So when he took so long, when it suddenly I was like, oh, I'm doing a new comic. You're going to do issue 1, and I need it by Halloween. I was like, okay. I better get money.
And I'm going to put all those links into the chat for us so you can go in and back them now. So I'll put those into the chat. So here is
like a mini operation game
for learning the curve.
I don't even know where this came from.
And then Madness put that one up as well. And
That's
then
a
I'll
great
get it.
title, by the way, Learning the Curve.
Yeah. So how many artists are involved in that one?
Just one.
Just one. Okay, so it's one
Yeah,
artist
he
that does
his
all of
debut.
the art.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's always.
It's like
I love
it
that.
started off like what we went in like 70 pages, and he's just been churning out art and like the page numbers keep climbing.
Yeah,
so
we're over
as
100 pages. Now,
as
I
we
think.
go,
Oh wow.
like the book keeps getting bigger. So
Yeah.
it's
So
like
it's growing even as it's on Kickstarter.
Yes.
All right. So it looks like Madness is putting them in there as well. So they'll be on both links. You can go in and back those. And then I'll be brief with my book because it's in pre-launch, but share out the link if nothing else. It's Immortal Era #10. So this is the 10th issue in working on our second story arc. I'm way slower than Carissa. She passed me in like a half a year. So that's all right.
It's not me. It's my artist and my credit card. I'm just
my credit card would not love me for that. So I'll slow down.
Mom, my credit card hates my guts, but the credit card company and the interest are very happy. So
I'm sure. All right. So let me put that one up. So it's Immortal Era #10. And this one is our second story arc. And the story is about a world where everyone has gained immortality, but no one gained any powers or abilities. So this world, they still age, they still get sick. One of the main characters that you see right there is a decapitated head who continues living on. So it's focused on a group of heroes. They're trying to find any way they can to restore the natural life cycle and to save humanity by killing them. So these 5 are out looking for relics, and if they can assemble all of these relics, which are actual pieces, I don't want to give a spoiler away. They are searching. The title of our first story arc was called Pieces of Death, and it's literal. So they're trying to reassemble death and bring the life cycle back into the world because this version of immortality is garbage, not happy, ageless vampires, but instead someone who could live 100 years suffering from cancer and never die from it. So this one is in pre-launch. It's actually going to launch on Thursday. So we'll be launching it on Thursday. And then for the Make 100, I have a Garbage Pail Kid homage cover that we'll have, and there will be just 100 copies of those ones. So I searched out as many Garbage Pail Kid artists as I could find, and finally got one that was willing to do a cover with me. I had to follow some rules. We can't have it look like a Garbage Pail Kid card, so the lettering's a little bit different, but that'll be our Make 100. And this is getting close to ending the story arc. We're done with the art up to issue 12. So this year we should get all the way through 12 and release the second trade of Immortal Era. So that one is...
That's a very cool
nice.
premise. I haven't heard that. Like, it's pretty awesome.
Thank you. And it's a fun series. And then we talked about more series will be coming out this year. So the Dracula Sherlock Holmes, that's the one I got to talk to Carissa's guy about, because I think a really sexy Mina on the cover would be awesome. So
It sells.
yeah, I've witnessed. So
This Operation game is anticlimactic. It doesn't zap you. What good is that?
no, you're playing Operation. It doesn't zap you. You need to be
It's
zapped.
It's just a
Oh,
magnet.
the teeny version. Okay, yeah. Well, no
I want to be
electroshock for
zapped and
that.
I want to have nightmares and be, like Perfection from the 80s. That thing would. I still
Yeah.
have trauma
It's
from
not
that.
fun
damn
without
thing.
consequences.
Yeah, right.
You need the consequences.
I need the shock therapy. This is the cheapest way I thought to get it, but
That's the fun way.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to wrap everything up now. So Carissa, tell us where we can find you.
you can find me. Just search Worthy Chaos on Facebook, Google, or Kickstarter, and I will show up somewhere and then probably talk nonstop when you find me. So, we have 8 campaigns this year. Every other month is going to be Devastation, Redemption, every other. So there you go.
Sleep is overrated. That's what Carissa knows. All right. So Aaron, where can we find you?
I'm on Instagram at Wroblewski Aaron. You can find me on Facebook. Ice and Bone, Blood and Fire, Enenra, and Amor Patrice all have their own Facebook series groups.
All right. And Lori and Eric, where can we find you?
Look at Laguna Studios Comics on Instagram, Laguna Studios Comics on Facebook, pretty much everywhere. Laguna Studios Kickstarter, yeah.
Backer kit, all that,
everywhere.
Everywhere. Just Google it.
Yeah, we're easy to
Excellent.
find.
So Laguna Studios, look it up. And for mine, look up Finish Line Comics. You can find me on all the social medias under Finish Line Comics. I have my YouTube channel, trying to build that one still. So if you haven't followed the YouTube, please give that a follow. I do this show every Saturday morning, and on Wednesday nights, me and a co-host dissect an album we've never listened to and play it once, and then we have to give all of our impressions about it. So comic creators, if you ever want to join us, we've had some guests on there. So if you want to come talk music, Carissa, I know you're going to sign up for all the shows to talk music. So we'll get you on.
Every single one of them.
So you want to be ready for all the music. And we're actually going to be doing a crossover show with Sarah White, where we're going to be talking about the Wicked movie and then the Wicked soundtrack afterwards.
I was on her show.
So
Awesome.
yeah, we're going to be building a crossover show with that. But if you ever want to come and talk music, send me a line. I'll send you the link of what albums we're going to be covering. And in addition, if you have an album you think we should cover, one that you think we haven't heard, send us that, and we're happy to add it to our upcoming list. We're covered through February, but our March schedule is wide open. So if you want to join us, or you want to just tell us, ooh, you need to cover this album, please do. And we will be happy to add it to our schedule coming out through this year.
The
Go
Crow
find
is the
Christopher
only
Lee's metal album that he put out, his concept metal album.
Who's that?
Christopher Lee Saruman.
Okay.
Dracula.
Yeah.
He put out a concept metal album,
Ooh.
and it's
Okay.
amazing.
All right. You gotta send me the name of it, and we'll, like I said, we'll get it in our upcoming. I think we have our next like 8 or so picked, but beyond that, we're wide open. So yeah, we already have a couple suggestions that we're doing. We did our first request last week was a Taylor Swift album. So yeah, that was interesting. my co-host got yelled at by Swifties. I did okay on that one. Normally I get yelled at by people telling me I'm wrong, but it was his turn to get yelled at, so it was all good. All right, so we'll see you actually not next week. Next week I have to work, but in 2 weeks I will be not with guests, but I will be doing it live from the Ontario HorrorCon. I'll be doing a walkthrough of the hall, showing everybody what's going on at the HorrorCon, stopping and talking to any creators that I see and doing some quick interviews. So in 2 weeks, February 1st, I believe, tune in and we'll be live from the halls of Ontario HorrorCon. Until then, everyone have a great weekend and we will see you soon.
Take care.
On the tube and feel the vibe. Every show you crave right here live. Heroes and villains clash in the night. Madness Comic Network sets it right. Scroll through the list, find what you need. Epic battles and fast-paced speed. From capes to cosmic space delight. Tune in and watch your favorites ignite. On Facebook, share the thrill so grand. On X, the buzz across the land. Madness Comic Network all around. In every episode, joy is found. Uploads, they never end. Superheroes and their friends. Catch every twist and every turn. Madness Comic, you will yearn. Stay up to date with every twist. Madness Comic, don't miss a gist. From laughter to tears, every mood. Madness Comic sets the groove. Click that button and subscribe. Catch the wave and ride the tide. Join the fun, join the craze. Madness Comic brightens days. Hey! New uploads, they never end. Superheroes and their friends. Catch every twist and every turn. Madness Comic, you will yearn. Stay up to date with every twist. Madness Comic, don't miss a gist. From laughter to tears, every mood. Madness Comic sets the groove. Click that button and subscribe. Catch the wave and ride the tide.